today I'm going to be giving you my review on the Anastasia of Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I always feel so kind of glamorous saying Renaissance. You can't not pronounce that like with effort and not feel like you're some kind of glamorous, well-to-do Victorian lady in one of those big massive dresses. I completely sold into all the hype that was going around YouTube. I was dying to try this palette. It's available on, well, it's meant to be available on Beauty Bay if you're in the UK, but it's been out of stock forever and I kind of gave up hope. So I ended up buying this from Sephora from America, and you get free delivery on orders over £75. So I just ended up buying this, buying the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation, and buying Better Than Sex Tester mascara, which all three products were ones that I was dying to get hold of, and it just worked out more affordable for me in the end to make sure I spent over £75 so that I could buy these products, because otherwise, I mean, I don't know when Beauty Bay, when are you going to get this back in stock? When? I have basically worn nothing but this since the day that I got it. When I got this, I was mad about my Ultimate Basics palette, which I still am. It's just that I'm having a complete moment with the Modern Renaissance right now. I'm going to have to urge you, and I never want to urge you to buy anything really, but right, if you're into like eyeshadows, if you're into like really playing about and creating eye looks, I feel like this palette will be a revelation to you, because coming from my own experience, like I don't have loads of palettes. I have all the naked ones. Like, this is going to sound like a lot now, isn't it? But I have all the naked palettes, and then I have a couple of like more affordable palettes. I've got I have a few palettes. When I first swatched the eyeshadows in this palette, I was blown away. Literally, I ran downstairs to my fiance with my arm like this, and I said, honeys, look at this, look at this. And he looked at me like with the blank look on his face, like, what's she excited about now? I was like, honeys, just look at the pigmentation in that. It's so creamy. I said, honeys, look at my arm right now. I said, he was watching the football at the time, but come on, like seriously, priorities, honeys. So Honey's like looked at my arm and he's like, I said, Honey's, this is what I'm always talking about when I'm swatching things. This is what I'm going for. Anyway, I don't know if he was interested or not, probably not. But what I'm trying to say is the shadows in here, the quality is amazing. Sensational, spectacular. The hype is 100% real with this palette. Something about the formula of the shadows that is just so high quality. They're so easy to use. They blend so well. Even if you're like me and you're a bit of an amateur when it comes to blending, I think anyone could create a really like professional looking eye look with this palette. Like, I've got this one going on today, which you might be looking at thinking, Anwen, that is just diabolical. But for me, like, this for me is like a work of art, because I'm lost for words with this palette, and I don't want to be one of these girls on YouTube that's being really like extra and over the top and being like, I love it, I'm obsessed, I'm just so obsessed with it, it is everything to me, it's my ride or die. Like, I don't want to be that girl, because I just think that's a little bit much. No criticism at all to those girls, but I just sometimes I feel like I'm getting a bit too old for this now. I still love my Naked Basics, but the quality, it's just not as good. And I love this, and I think the quality is great, but the quality of the Anastasia one is spectacular. I would definitely recommend, if there's if you've got some money or if you want to treat yourself, I think it's so worth treating yourself to a really high end palette. And saying high end, this only worked out to be, I think, £34, which actually isn't that, well, I mean, my Naked Basics one was 38, so this is actually cheaper than the Urban Decay one, which is actually interesting. I feel like this one is so expensive because it's so good. But it's actually not that expensive, really. Like, if you're thinking to yourself, right, okay, so I think I would really like the Modern Renaissance palette, but you're not quite sure if the hype is real or not, I'll tell you right now, it's so real. Like, I have never experienced eyeshadows like these before in my life. I think the colours are really nice, but the one thing that I will say is, and this is going to sound really at odds with all the complimentary things I've just said, you know, the formula is spectacular, I can't fault it, but I actually suit cooler tone shadows more. If you're a fan of warm toned eyeshadows, again, definitely get this. But I feel like I am more of a cool tone kind of girl. I feel like I'm attracted to warm tones, but I think cool tones tend to just suit me more. However, I do love this palette. It's beautiful, but just keep that in mind. If you are going to buy it, it is very kind of warm toned indeed. Okay, so I'm going to do some swatches in a minute, but before I do that, I am just going to say that the one, like, this is something that I feel like is important to say about this palette, and I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution light and shade one to emphasize my point. I believe that in my review of this palette, I said the reason why I thought that the formula was really good was because they weren't super pigmented and they were buildable. So I feel like this palette is great for a beginner or someone that's getting started in makeup, because the shades aren't really pigmented, so you can just build them up. So it's not like you put the eyeshadow on your eye and then all of a sudden it's muddy and it looks awful. And that's why I feel like this would work really well for a beginner. Now, in the same breath, I feel like this would be really good for a beginner in makeup too. However, the one thing to keep in mind is they are supremely pigmented to the point that you have to really use a light hand when picking up the eyeshadow, because I've had it like this morning. I actually wasn't going for this much of a smoky eye. I was going for like a naturally kind of eye because I was dropping the kids off at nursery and I wasn't even planning on making this video today. But because the shadows are so pigmented, I ended up with like a deep, intense, smoky eye, and then I couldn't reverse. Like, I couldn't turn back down the road of natural eye. I was deep into smoky eye forest at the time. So, but I mean, I love it. And then I thought, well, I'm going to do the video now when I've got smoky eye. Why not? Yeah, so use a light hand. By the way, I've been sat here all along. I've not even shown you any of the colours. The main purpose for my review, I think, has just been telling you about the formula. Sorry, I've been like keeping it like a little secret. Also get a little brush with it, which actually is magnificent and I love it. It's got like a fluffy end there, which is amazing for just blending out the shadows. What else are you going to be blending out? I don't know. Custard? No. Why would you put custard on your eye? So this side is just really good for packing on the colour to the lid. So yeah, the brush it comes with I use all the time as well. I think all that's left to do now is to move on to the swatching portion of the video. This is not a new tattoo, by the way. This is a transfer tattoo. I got Andrea some tattoos and he insisted that I wore one, which is why I have a, it's meant to be a dinosaur, but it looks more like a rhino. I don't know what it is. I have no idea, but I have a rhino on my arm apparently. Anyway, so please ignore that during the swatches. I'm just going to get straight into it and I hope that you enjoy it. I'll just show you the eye makeup one last time so you can have a little look and see what the amateur Anwen created with the help of the fabulous palette. Okay, I hope I've not been too extra in this video, by the way. Okay, so here we go for the swatching. Okay, so I'm going to begin with the first couple of shades. Once again, apologies for this. I'm going to start high up on the old arm today. Why not? Okay, we'll start here. What do you think? Okay, so this shade... Oh, no, I got another colour. Oh, this is not very professional, is it? Oh, gosh. Okay, so this shade... I kind of got mixed in with another. Unfortunately, I'm really sorry about that. Swatching isn't going well so far, is it? But this one is... Let me do that again. I can't. That's just unforgivable of me. Okay, so the first shade is Tempera. Right, forget that. Forget it. We're starting again. Okay. Tempera, and it's a lovely kind of peachy. My descriptions aren't very good. Can you even see that? I don't know. I feel like you can't even see that. What's going on here? What is going on? Is it just my angle that I'm at? Creamy shade, but it has this peachiness to it. And I wouldn't say it's matte. I'd say it's a satin finish. The next shade is a golden ochre. No idea. But it's a lovely kind of sandy goldeny shade, and again this one is a satin. It's definitely not matte. The next shade is Vermeer. By the way, one thing to mention, I do find that the shimmery shades do tend to have quite a bit of fallout, which is a bit of a nuisance, but nothing that you can't really deal with. So this one is Vermeer. And I'm just going to go in again just to build out, just so you can really see it, because I just feel like this, my arm's a bit washed out, is it? I don't know. I'm going to... Right, so I've just moved slightly because I kind of was worried that you weren't actually being able to see any of the swatches. So this next one is Vermeer. I have put it up there, but I don't know, I'm not trusting that you can see it. So I'm going to just go in. There we go. So this is Vermeer. I am going to do another... I've done like a double swatch so that you can see it, because I just feel like the colour's a bit washed out, like not the colour of the shadows, but I just feel like the colour in the swatches is being a bit washed out. Anyway, next shade is Buon Fresco. Yeah, I don't really, these shade names are just, I don't know. Okay, so Buon Fresco. I'm at a really weird angle, by the way, here, so it's a little bit awkward, but yeah, Buon Fresco, there it is. That's a really nice kind of mauvey, plummy shade. That's probably one of my favourite in the palette, along with the next one, which is Antique Bronze. Okay, let's do this Antique Bronze. This is where they get super pigmented. There's Antique Bronze. I am just going to go in again because I just feel like the colour's being washed out somehow. Okay, Antique Bronze, there we go. How beautiful is that one? Okay, can you see the little rhino awkwardly in the middle of the swatching? Mr. Rhino, honestly. Okay, so the next one I'm going to swatch is Love Letter. This is the really nice kind of rich, kind of hot pinky shade. It's not hot pink at all, but it's pink. These swatches, for some reason today, are not coming out the best. There we go. Okay, so that one is Love Letter. You can see why, you know, you do have to use a really light hand when applying these, because, I mean, look at that one I've just picked up. Okay, that one was Cypress Umber. These names are just funny. I've not really paid attention to the names before, but a bit funny. But you can see, watch this. Now, there is a lot of fallout with this one. I don't remember seeing as much fallout before. But can you see from these last three why you have to be super, like, timid when putting your brush in? Because otherwise, I mean, you do end up with, like, some crazy pigmentation going on. And when you might have just thought, oh, I'm just going to do it. And then you, see, I'm not going to tell you what this is. This is Raw Sienna. Yeah, you do have to be. You have to be so careful when applying these, because you can see how you may just be going for like a minimal, no makeup, natural kind of look. And then you end up with like serious vampy smoky eyes. So like me today. So yeah, you do have to be really careful. So that this one was Raw Sienna, if I didn't mention that. It's a lovely kind of toffee orange tone kind of shade, but not as orange toned as the next one that I'm about to show you. So these are the shades. Sorry about the awkward rhino in the middle. I'm going to do the others on the other hand, which another tattoo, seriously, tattoo issues. Okay, so oh no, I can't, because I've realised I can't swatch left-handed, so I'm going to go wipe these off. I don't want to wipe them off though. I'm not going to wipe them off. I'm just going to, God, why is this, I'm making this into such a difficult chore. Right, next one, Burnt Orange. We're just going to go in. Are you ready for some Burnt Orange? I'm going to go in again. By the way, I have gone in twice with all of these swatcheroos, just so you know. Okay, Burnt Orange. It's kind of similar to Raw Sienna, but It is kind of similar. I'd say it's just a bit kind of warmer. Okay, next one is Primavera, and I'm going to do that here. This one is a really lovely pigmented kind of champagne, but with kind of bronzy undertone kind of shade. Can you see that there? Now the shimmers and the mattes are both just as good and just as pigmented. I would definitely say, look at that one I've just picked up. This one is Red Ochre. Red Ochre. I'm just going to go over Rhino because I feel like Red Ochre can do it. Okay, Rhino, sorry. Red Ochre is coming over. There we go. Look at that one. Beautiful. And what you'll notice is, like when I do the swatches, you can kind of manipulate the eyeshadow quite a bit. So you do, like, I'll show you, like, I can't really explain it. But the next one is Venetian Red, and I'm just going to swatch this. I'm just going to go in again just so you can really make it out. Venetian Red. Now, Venetian Red and Love Letter, these two, do look kind of similar in the palette. I'll show you. Okay, so Love Letter and Venetian Red, the Venetian Red Love Letter do look very similar in the pan. However, you can see on the arm they are very different. The Venetian Red is more red, believe it or not. Love Letter is a lot more of a pink tone. I do love the shades in this palette, but I do think I'm more of a cool tonedy kind of girl. The reason why I'm hesitant to actually go wash these swatches off my arm to create more space is because they actually stain. They like stain your arm a bit. So I want to try and get it all done in one go if I can, because they do stain your arm. So anyway, just a point to mention. Next one is Warm Taupe, one of my favourites in the entire palette because it's like a grey tone brown. Well, a taupe, I suppose you would call it. Next shade, and the last shade I'm going to be swatching today is Real Gar. I wonder where these names all come from. Venetian-y times, I wonder. I'm just going to do Real Gar there. What's it called again? Real Gar. This is a brick, kind of brick reddy orange shade. There it is. I'm sorry, it's a little bit close together, isn't it? But there we go. Here are all the swatches, and do you see what I mean about the fact that they are so kind of richly pigmented? I hope you don't mind me swatching on the hairiest of all the hairy arms. I used to shave my arms, and then I thought, because, you know, bit difficult enough to shave my legs, but luckily we're in non-shaving season at the moment because tights are being worn. So I've not shaved my legs in ages. Anyway, side note. So there's all the swatches for you to cast your eyes over. And yeah, I might just do the video like this, like a little monkey looking in. I'm going to go have a shower now and dye my hair pink so that it's not so purple. And I hope you all had a really fabulous Christmas. I don't know when this is going to go up, so it's going to be after Christmas. So I hope you all had a great Christmas. By the way, just to mention as well, the reason why, like, I know a lot of people, when they're doing a review on an eyeshadow palette, will actually show you the application on the eyes. I am not very good at makeup, and I feel like you could watch other videos and they would really demonstrate the palette so much better than I ever could. So that's why I've not bored you with me like winging it doing my eyes, because I'm just not very good at doing it. This is why I don't do get ready with me's either, because I just feel like I'm not an expert at makeup. So I leave that to the professionals, just in case you're wondering. Anyway, I hope that that's okay, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.